20 creepy psych ward stories. According to Reddit. Number 20. Definitely the saddest. At a nursing home where I worked, we had this lady who was completely incapacitated and also had dementia. We knew through her family that she had been happily married for over 50 years and had a really wonderful life. However, when she first arrived, every time we went to change her brief, read, or disposable diaper, she would start screaming about rape and start crying hysterically. Afterwards, it would take her quite a while to forget and calm down. After a few months, she was always screaming about being raped and tortured in a barn, even at mealtime. The family had no idea what was going on and had agreed to allow her to be seen by a special psychiatrist. It turns out that she had been horrifically raped and beaten as a child by an older... Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. It turned out she had been horrifically raped and beaten as a child by an older family member. They were out on a farm. She kept home until she healed, and nothing was ever said about it again. Her children were devastated. She had been keeping that horror inside all those years and never told anyone. Dementia is a bitch. It makes you defenseless against all things you tuck away and refuse to think about. And then those things become so real that there is nothing else. Hello to everybody in the stream chat. I love you and hope that you're all having a great evening, afternoon, morning, or day. Love you, Faith. I love you, Schwans. Hello, wonderful, wonderful Mads. And Schwans, you guys are the real heroes. Nice to see you as well, Regina. And Hannah, delicious. As we continue down to number 21 because 19 was deleted. Number 21 reads, I had a patient who used a pencil to poke a 6-inch deep wound into her breast tissue. Every chance she got, she would dig around in the wound. She was addicted to surgical anesthesia and got it when her wound required surgery. We had her on one-to-one observation, but even so, she would find ways to make her wound worse. Really sad, actually. She had kids and a loving husband, but she was just so addicted to self-harm and anesthesia. She eventually transferred to a more acute facility. There was another patient who trashed our unit, a big guy, but not bigger than me, and I'm 6'5" and 250 pounds. So we thought we would be, thank you, Schwans, for that $1.11 donation, because you know that Google's gonna take that money. Google's gonna take that money in the heat of the night. I'm just going to pause for that little pop-up notification from Streamlabs, who seems to be a little bit behind tonight. You all right there, Streamlabs? Need a little kick in the ass? Man, there you go, Streamlabs. There you go. Well, all right. Oh, man, I forgot to change the description to say $3+ gets text-to-speech, but I think you guys know. So let's continue down this. There was a bigger patient who trashed our unit, a big guy but not bigger than me, and I'm 6'5" and 250 pounds. So we thought we'd be able to handle him if he lost control. Well, one day, he decided he'd had enough of being at our facility, so he lifted a solid wood armchair over his head and threw it through the reinforced window. He then broke all the wooden furniture, pretty much riding on anger and adrenaline. An odd memory I have of working there was when a 400-pound female patient tried to literally run me over. I simply got out of the way, and of course she accused me of pushing her down. That was more pathetic than odd, I guess. I also had a guy fake hearing persecutory. I know what persecution is. I just don't see this word often, and I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Persecutory.
Persecute.
No, nigga, I know that. You son of a bitch. This wasn't very much help at all. I also had a guy fake hearing persecutory voices in his... Sorry. Like, I'm almost about to, burp. It's so nuts. I apologize. I also had a guy fake hearing persecutory voices in his head so he could get more medication. Nice. I hear the voices. They mean give me meds. We only knew he was faking when, after several months, we confirmed that he did not have schizophrenia. He was a male borderline personality disorder patient, which can be the most difficult type of person to work with. He would swallow anything he could find, CD cases, CDs, batteries, pens. He would get shipped off to the ER when he did, then come right back to us. Such a waste of life. He was smart and funny, but had a very self-destructive streak. Almost forgot to mention the crazy guy who held a pencil to my co-worker's throat. Oh, this is so bad. I'm sorry for all the yawning. Like he was going to stab her. Myself and another employee, even larger than me, he was 6'4" and 350 pounds. Damn, boy. Slap that on some toast. What you trying to slap on some toast, Kyle? It. When is it gonna get slapped? Now. Why? Just because. Just because we can.
Slap it on some toast.
Well, that was a long replacement for 19 that had been deleted. So as we continue up and make haste through this list, because I gotta get to bed, we arrive at number 18 on the list of 20 creepy psych ward stories. My mom told me this story from her time as a neuropsychiatrist. Oh no. Well, she was a neuropsychiatrist, nigga. She was in grad school. She was making her routine room checks and happened upon the most horrific scene I've ever heard of, as far as happening to someone I actually know. That was during the night shift, and generally, all the patients' bedrooms' doors should be closed, so she turns a corner and is heading down another hallway of their rooms and notices down the hall a door is open, and sees a staff member lying face down with her legs out the door, and their upper half inside the room. When she looks into the room, she sees the patient, a woman, with a severe postpartum psychiatric disorder who had just gouged both of her own eyes out of the socket with her bare hands and was sitting cross-legged on the floor, holding her eyes. The first staff member to witness the scene, who was now lying face down on the floor, had a heart attack when he witnessed the woman while he was making his rounds. So here's my mom, screaming for any form of assistance while frantically trying to perform CPR on the initial staff member as a woman is sitting rather calmly, holding her own eyes. Shout out to the Red Jinx, who is incredible. Number 17. So many unsettling things. I work on a secure unit for women with personality disorders who have been sanctioned for serious self-harm and suicide attempts. It's adult services, but a lot of our girls have just come from a children's unit, so they're still young. The way these girls will hurt themselves is unbelievable. Ligatures, cutting, inserting, biting themselves, burning, hair pulling, head banging. The list is endless. I'll never forget a patient we had, she's actually been discharged now, who really suffered. She'd been in the service since she was 8 years old, and she was at the time in her late 30s. Anyway, Christmas time, she has a few bad anniversaries, rape, friends' deaths, etc. And she starts to struggle, but she likes to bite herself. And I don't mean like a wee little dig of the teeth. She would grab her arm with her teeth and tear the flesh away in huge chunks. And then she would chew it and swallow it, and it was like she was possessed. Well, in a way, she was a voice used to telling her to self-harm. Then after she'd ate a massive chunk of her arm, or wherever she could reach, it would go fingers rummaging in her arm, ripping at tendons and veins, trying to inflict as much damage as possible. I think she was in a permanent restraint for about 3 weeks because she couldn't stop trying to kill herself. I'd only been working there a month. There's many more, but this one sticks with me. A lot of staff vomited after seeing what she had done. Hello, Sexy Jinx, and hello, Wonderful Sketch. Again, I hope you guys are having a wonderful... Am I gonna sneeze? Excuse me, Jesus Christ. Just continue the list, you freaking spaz. Number 16. I remember a year or so ago, one of our revolving door patients was readmitted shortly after being discharged from her last admission. She didn't accept that she had a mental disorder, and so upon discharge immediately stopped taking her medication because delusional and psychotic. As I walked on that ward that morning, she collared me, clearly very cross about the circumstances leading to her admission. She had completely disengaged from mental health services and barricaded herself in the house, meaning police had to smash down her door with a battering ram. She seemed remarkably with it when she told me she wanted to lodge an official complaint. She said she wanted a list of all the people present when she was assessed for admission at her house. She knew who most of the professionals were, but she was unable to identify another man present and wanted me to find out who he was. His main identifying feature being that at the time, he was dressed as a vampire. She said that the vampire had lots of umbrellas and kept twirling them around before reflecting, "They're crackers, they are." Woo! I demand to know who the other man present was. What other man? The one dressed as a vampire. And he said, "Blah, they're crackers, they are. One umbrella that's actually a cracker. 2 umbrellas that are actually crackers." I'm sorry. Craziness ain't funny. Kermit D. Frog here. Psychosis. Let me stop. I mentioned it after to one of the psychiatrists who assessed her and said, "Oh yeah, the vampire. Did we ever find out who that was?" That's not funny. That's rude. Y'all are rude. I thought I was rude. Woo. Rude in this bitch. Wanna make love? Number 15. Not my patient, but 16-year-old kid from a religious family in the UK comes into the psych ward after being passed around various doctors for quite some time. He believes he hears both the voice of God and Satan. The devil tells the kid to masturbate while God tells him... What a bunch of bing bong. I can't even see that. Hold on. Oh, Serious Sketch hit me with $2. Says, follow your boy on Sizzle. Wait. Is he really plugging his own damn Snapchat with a super chat donation? I'll allow it this one time, you cucks. You cucks. Oh shit. Again, I love you, Red Jinx. Red Jinx set me up with a new phone that actually works today. And I'm realizing Snapchat is still connected to the old one. I'm gonna have to do something about that, but not in the middle of the list. I love you guys. And I should get somewhere. Now, boy is plagued. He says he hears the voice of God and the devil. The devil tells the kid to masturbate, while God tells him if he masturbates, he will punish him and his family. Eventually, he gives in to masturbating. He's 16. And describes something fairly odd. Timmy is an average kid. He believes that every time he masturbates, his semen shoots back into his own body and travels up into his spine, and that this allows the devil to control him and make him harm his family. He never actually hurt anyone during this, but he would freak out and try to hurt himself to stop the devil from letting him hurt other people. I have no idea what happened because, like I said, not my patient. Chances are he's still out there, still with schizophrenia, and no one ever gets rid of these kinds of mental problems. Damn. It is 9:48 at night and some asshole is playing Ingress and destroying my portals. Get a life. Thank you
Hey
for the...
Siel, wanna
Whoa.
hear a joke? Me getting sleep tonight, less than 333.
You know, I really appreciate that less than 333, dude. I really appreciate that. Damn, y'all just rolling in with the donations back to back, giggledy wiggledy. I can't not be appreciative of you wonderful, wonderful gassy and serious sketch tonight. Serious sketch says, I know it's sleazy, but it was a joke, I promise. Love you, Kyle, for real. Remember, if you donate via Streamlabs, Google doesn't take any of the money, and if it's more than $3, you'll get that text-to-speech. But remember, if you have to donate through Super Chat, I'm still loving you. And you don't even need to donate, it's the thought that counts. People should roll into the chat and be all like, hey Kyle, I love you, and if I could, then I would. And I'd be all like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, ew. My God. Every night that I do this, I essentially have to put a bit of Vicks on my lip so that it goes and keeps my nose from getting stuffed up, because every night my nose gets stuffed up while I'm trying to read this. It's a problem. But my next thing that I'm going to do is lose some damn weight so that Jinx will be all like, oh my God, that boy is fine. Oh, look at his body. You know what I'm talking about? Number 14. I used to work in an assisted living home where we had elderly residents with dementia. We had one resident who would get up in the middle of the night because he thought he had to go outside and milk the cows, but he didn't realize that he hadn't lived on a farm for 20 years. Anyway, the assisted living was in a wooded area and there was a door alarm that would go off in the middle of the night if any of the doors were open. He would always set it off and I would have to run out. God damn it, Kyle. He would have to run outside in the dark trying to find his client. Now he was a little, that was like a baby burp. Like you just had like a little baby in your hand and you like sling the baby over your shoulder. And then you're just like patting him on the back and then he burps. Kyle, you're ruining your own momentum here, motherfucker. He would always set it off. It's a story about a nigga waking up in the middle of the night. This isn't even him being so much crazy so much as just like, I don't know, being permanently trapped in his mind like a couple of years ago. That's real sad. Can you imagine living a portion of your life and then a couple of years in the future, you get confused and you think that you were living that portion of the life again? And you're doing shit like running outside to milk cows and when you don't even have cows no more? Fuck this entry. Number 13. But oh my God, you can't do this. You can't do this. It's an edit. I'm not reading any of that. Dead serious. I gotta get to bed. I love you guys. I really contemplated not doing this, but I owe it to you guys because you're amazing and I love you. But I can't be. Oh my God. Oh God. Even the edits. Oh, number 13. Thank you. Thank you, God, for deleting number 12. Okay. Number 13. I had just started working as an HCA, which is a mental health technician, in an acute psychiatric ward in London.
Somebody once told me the world was gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kinda dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead.
Schwanz Gruberman wanted that to happen, ladies and gentlemen, because that's the type of motherfucker Schwanz Gruberman is.
Bazinga!
You know what I mean? As we continue, thank you again for the donation. I guess you ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, motherfucker. Number 13, sharpest tool in the shed. It's not funny. It's fucking weird. Oh man, Serious Sketch, you're donating again. Tree Fitty. Here you go. This is for the goddamn Loch Ness monster. Oh.
What's Tree Fitty?
$3.50.
Tree Fitty. Tree Fitty.
Killer Clean says, that bazinga made me want to kill myself, Kaya. Oh, well. You know, all you got to do is invite over one of your dudes and be like, hey, I'll cut your hair for $20. And I'll do some more for you. You know what I'm talking about. Whoa. Did somebody really just donate again? Damn. No. That's the notification of the donation from before. Kyle, get a hold of yourself. Okay? We had a client who was severely depressed, and medication wasn't doing the trick. The guy was almost catatonic and spent all day every day, nigga. He spent all day every day on his bed, clearly in an unimaginable anguish. He began to lose so much weight, lucky, and generally exhibited so many negative symptoms, that the doctor, nurse in charge, and an impartial patient advocate decided that the only recourse was unoptional electroconvulsive therapy. Jesus Christ, they gonna shock the motherfucker? Yeah, damn. Well, now I only have been working this field for a month or so, coming from a barman background and a pretty serious disdain for authority. When me and the two colleagues escorted this poor man to the ECT clinic, he broke his catatonic state and started screaming. So here is a grown man literally screaming and begging and crying, no, not the electricity, no, please, it fucking hurts, please, no. It doesn't hurt, by the way, but I didn't know that at the time. Nigga, you can't tell somebody else it don't hurt. You don't know what the hell they feeling, you stupid bitch. You need a pop in the fucking mouth telling somebody it don't hurt, you know what I mean? It's not.
I love you, Kyle.
That's not bad. It didn't pronounce it that bad. I love you more, Faith. He pronounced it pretty well. Kyle. I wonder if it would read it right without the dash. That's the real question. Faith, you really need to stop, cutie. That blender's got your name on it, and you've done more than you need to. And we're gonna be figuring out a way to pay you back in your own special way. But as it pertains to paying anyone back, I'll never be able to pay fucking Jinx back. Jinx, thank you again for the phone today. Hannah was sexy enough to allow me to get a case for that, like right on time. I put it on the wish list as something for me to buy for myself, and when I looked, it was gone. So fantastic. Hannah not only got the case, but the screen protector as well. So all of that came here today. It's up and running. You women are wonderful, and I don't deserve you. But I don't think anybody else is deserving of you. You know what I mean? You deserve better than what all the cunts running around this planet can offer. So my colleague and I are forced to restrain this guy who doesn't want to be electrocuted, hold him down on the table while some poor student nurse at the ECT clinic had to try to anesthetize this guy, but kept missing the vein due to his struggling, causing him considerable pain. He finally got the jab, went under, and the ECT was performed, which took all of 20 seconds and didn't look too bad at all. He was wheeled into the recovery suite, where he woke after 15 minutes. At this point, I'm feeling like the bad guy in a movie. I'm fucking traumatized. I've been there a month, and already I'm manhandling screaming men onto a bed to get blasted with electricity. Happy ending. ECT fucking works. Within 2 minutes of waking up, the guy was flirting with a nurse, making good-natured, flirty jokes with her. This coming from a nonverbal, damn near catatonic treatment resistant, depressed person. He was now literally a changed man. Although I kinda have a headache, can I get some aspirin and maybe your number? Shake them titties, girl. This is just a story from an acute assessment ward. I have some far scarier stories from the acute men's medium secure unit I work in, i.e. the scary Hannibal Lecter murderers. I bet you guys are interested in what he has to talk about in his edit. Well, I'm not. So as we roll up the list to number 11. Ooh, this nigga got bullet points in his entry. Ooh.
I'll tell you of many times that were outrageous and creepy for me. Would you like to see my calendar?
Number 11. I have several experiences, and it's hard to just choose a few. Yeah, it's hard for me too. Nice and hard. Girthy, if you will. A guy walked up to the desk, looked straight at a female employee and said, "In my mind, I just killed you." Keep in mind this guy is super creepy, rarely talks, but will just look at you with bug eyes. Okay. One lady has a very specific delusion that people are sexually assaulting her, that it happens in the shower, and the blood runs down all the walls. She also believes people cut off parts of her body, that they suture her, including mutilating her genitals, and have given them away. She's around 50 or so and also thinks that someone has stolen her shed and flourish, which basically is her youth, beauty, and gets highly upset thinking about people that have taken it from her. She also really, really hates Justin Bieber for some reason, and that makes her crazy. What a world we live in. She will go off about him and think that you are him. That he has demon dogs that do sexual things with him that come after her. She believes her members of her family are getting raped by black men. Oh boy. That they suck them through this. Oh my god. Both of my phones are going off at the same time. Oh no. Stop. They're the same phone now. You back up a phone, you back up the damn alarms. What a nightmare. Guys. Oh boy. The black men are... She believes her family members are getting raped by black men and that they suck them through the seat of a car. That's how they trap them. Don't sit in that seat. No, the black man gonna get you. Oh yeah, bitch. Fell for the car trick again. Better bend over and put up a little bit of a fight. I've been watching a lot of hentai today. Boy. Schwan says, for my nudes, go to Microsoft Word and write boobs. Okay. Thank you for the $1.11, Schwans. I mean... You are really a saint among men, sir. Just a saint among men. How do I make Jinx happy? That's the real question for the night. I had a guy who would speak to his voices, and one time while I was in the room doing work, he started whispering, and basically his voices were telling him that I didn't know who the king was, and that he should be quiet, or else I would find out they were talking. All of the while, he says this out loud. Sarah Bishop says that her nightmares usually consist of a glove chasing her. So hopefully that gives you some insight into the madness that is the sad, sad mind of Sarah Bishop being chased by a glove for eternity.
Get back here, Jessica!
I'm sorry. You're so weird. Okay. We had a lady who would go into catatonic states and just stop talking to you and stare like she was in a different dimension. Like she was like she was staring into your soul, but at the same time not. She got mad at me once and said, "I'm not good, but I'm close enough." Oh, and stormed off. She would also chase around one of my coworkers. Take into account she was like frail 70-year-old. Guys, I'm going to share something crazy with y'all. Fuck this list, man. It's not that it's a bad list or it's uninteresting. You know, you ever just not be in the mood for something like that. It's not that I'm not in the mood for the list. It's that I'm like antsy, and this week's going to be fucking really nuts for me. And also I have to share with you basically what just happened to me, okay? I have just turned around to face my open door. This sounds crazy, all right? But I'm going to share with you something almost specifically because I know that somebody else in the stream chat shares the feeling that I'm about to describe. Normally I close the door in my room. I just do that, okay? Just now I got the mental image of somebody creeping up behind me and just stabbing the shit out of me, man. Just stabbing the crap out of me. They creeped up, they got behind me. I'm vulnerable because I'm facing forward and I'm not paying attention, and they're just fucking stabbing me. Right now, I have turned so that I'm looking backwards towards the door, and I'm not going to turn back until I close the door, because this mental image is so pervasive, so persistent, that it's not that I don't feel safe, but this irrational fear that because I'm leaving myself vulnerable with this door open is consuming me. So give me a moment. I'm going to stand up. It's crazy that we're in the middle of a list about psych ward stories, but the bottom line is I'm not abnormal. You know what I mean? I'm not, I'm proud of the fact that I'm weird and I'm odd, but the bottom line is I am not joking. I am looking at the freaking door right now because it's open, and so intense. It was just a random mental image of somebody stabbing me in the back, in my fucking neck, that I'm going to get the hell up and I'm going to close the door. That's that. Maybe you've had, a feeling like that and you needed to go close the door before. Tell me all about it in the stream chat. Oh boy. Gnome King said, "Stab? Don't you mean dab?" He actually said, "Don't you mean dab?" Faith says, "Specifically moved my bed to face the door so I don't get that feeling anymore." Oh, Faith. Hilliclean says, "I definitely get that, Kyle." Well, I wonder what shit Red Jinx has to take care of. She's such a mystery to me. My apologies. As we roll up the list, we arrive at, we're still in the middle of this horseshit. Okay. We just got done with the black people one, right? That was a guy talking to his own voices. We had a lady who would go into catatonic states and just start talking to you and stare like, and just stop talking to you and stare like she was in a different dimension. Like she was staring into your soul, but at the same time not. She got mad at me once and said, I'm not God. Oh, nigga. I read I'm not good, but I'm close enough the first time. It's a good thing I came back and reread it. Because it says, I'm not God, but I'm close enough. That's crazy. I'm not good, but I'm close enough will make you feel sorry for somebody. But God? Bet you crazy. All right. She stormed off. She would also chase around one of my coworkers and take into account she was like a frail 70-year-old lady. At one point, she was getting onto the elevator and said she was taking her nurse exam. Because she was part-time when she got downstairs. She passed her exam and then proceeded to follow us around while doing rounds. She wasn't physically intimidating, but just looking at her, you know she was a real special one. We also had a woman who would see her dead dog outside and would talk to it through the glass. She also referred to herself in the third person and would shout her name and say that they are a whore. Oh boy. This is getting pretty dank. One lady believed that she is a realtor / banker / crime solver. She carries newspaper clippings and believes that people break into her home and take things from them or sells them without her permission, particularly one of her Hampton homes. She makes a plan to stop drug crime in the state next to us because she is a detective. Lastly, one guy wouldn't give his vitals to the nurse because of the radio waves coming from the technology they put in his arm. He said that he didn't have vitals because of it. Nice. Okay. Nice. As we roll up to number 10, oh, we can get through this. We can do it, ladies and gentlemen. Worked at a nursing home. 90-year-old Alzheimer's patient and former nurse would frequently put on gloves and stick her fingers up her ass, pull shit out of it. She was ever constipated. One day she did this, and while it was in her hands, she got the idea that it was no longer her own feces, but it was soap. She got down on her hands and knees and scrubbed the floor with her feces, and then put the remainder of it in the soap dish in the bathroom, which was not a soap dish. It was her sleeping roommate's denture cup. Oh boy. Ooh wee. She put her poop in her roommate's denture cup. You know that roommate woke up and was like, that's enough. Number 9. Just made this throwaway specially. That's not what that says. Just made this throwaway specifically to reply here. I am a counselor in a facility for people experiencing mental health crisis. That's not what that says. I am a counselor in a facility for people experiencing mental health crises. Recently, not capitalized, we had a client in who is experiencing active schizophrenic psychosis with her hallucinations manifesting in the form of demons that followed her around. Dank, alright? It was really unsettling seeing her talking to him, and frequently the discussion centered around being drenched in blood. She wouldn't sleep in her bed and slept on the floor, starfished, face down. Now that's scary. Checking on her at night was always a little unsettling, seeing someone face down, starfished out like that on the floor. Oh boy. Number 8. I don't have a specific story in mind, but I always found it remarkable when you would be having a conversation with a patient who seemed completely normal, to the point where you would really start wondering why they were there at all. But then they would just drop in a random comment that showed how fucked up they really were, and then just keep going with the conversation. Someone else says, I'm a paramedic. I had a patient once that was a homeless fella who called 911 because his feet hurt. He said that he'd been walking all day and just couldn't do it anymore. I looked down and saw that he was wearing ill-fitting dress shoes without socks, super uncomfortable for anyone. We load him up and are having a regular small talk type conversation. Then I asked him his name. Oh, you mean you don't know? No, sir, I don't. I am him. The one. God. Light of the world, homeless man stepped down into the ambulance. Open my shoes, let my feet breathe. Here I am, 'cause my feet hurt. Here I am to sit down. Here you are to question who I am. I'm all together, Jesus. All together, Holy Spirit bows. Ow. Jesus Christ. Get me the fuck out of this list, number 7. I was a volunteer at a hospital visiting people in their rooms. I got so good at Scrabble I could wreck you, son. One day, one of the lades. What the fuck? One of the lades? Somebody listens to these lists and thinks I can't read. That's what pisses me off. I was about to start shaking this desk. Ooh, I came close. Ooh, I came close to shaking this desk. Somebody's listening to these lists thinking that I can't read. Nigga, these people can't write. And that's a problem for me. One of the days, one of the ladies got out of the mental health ward and walked out of the hospital. It was pouring rain. How big were them titties? And were they wet? And so a bunch of nurses and volunteers went looking out in the parking lot in the general area for her. I found her a little bit of a green space. Oh boy. I found her in a little bit of a green space by a pond overlooking the highway. I slowly walked this old lady mumbling to herself, soaking wet. I slowly walk this old lady mumbling to herself, soaking wet? You walk to her? Bitch. We get her inside and she holds onto my wrist and won't let go and keeps talking to me and calling me Brad. You Brad now, bitch. I found out afterward Brad's the name of her son. I'm a 5'6" Indian guy, so it didn't make sense. I just work tech support, bro.
Thank you for calling, Brad. What can I do to help you with your problem today, sir? I see that you're having problem with your network connection. Have you tried to turn it off and then turn it on again? I will wait. Try to access your router, please.
Ooh, that's racist. Okay, but dude, she had this creepy death grip on my hands. She know taekwondo. Ooh, shut up. You're going crazy, dude. Shit. But she had this creepy death grip on my hands and kept talking to me like I was her son. She didn't let go until 2 nurses pried her hands off of me. Oh my God. I didn't see her again, but being a 15-year-old kid who hadn't been volunteering for that long, it certainly freaked me out. Kyle, take a minute to come to your senses. All right? Okay. I gotta get to bed. I've got to get to bed. I'm scared that people are seeing me this crazy. It's pretty bad. Boy. Okay. As we travel up the list of 20 creepy psych ward stories, we finish this list off by destroying the remaining 6. I was a tech in the psych ward a few years ago. We did 15-minute checks on each patient, and we had 18 beds. Usually there was only one tech working, so during the chaos of giving a report to the next tech, the patients were watched for a good 30 minutes. After doing my first 15-minute check of the shift, I noticed a patient was missing. When I asked, my charge nurse said, I think he was discharged. Well, 3 hours later, we got a call from the ER saying that they found him. I'm sorry. I guess he climbed through the ceiling tiles of his room and crawled all the way to the ER and fell through their ceiling. There was a lot of paperwork filed that day. Somebody said, was he an Argentinian? What a question to ask. What a bing bong? Wow. Number 5, my client had a fragile X. Cerebral palsy, intermittent explosive disorder, and MR. He loved to reenact he loved to reenact WWE storylines. He would continuously try to attack me with wrestling moves, albeit in slow motion due to his disability. Somebody said an old man charging you while screaming John Cena sounds pretty terrifying. Pretty terrifying. Oh, I apologize for this list, guys. Number 4, I had a patient who accused a colleague of mine of raping her. Come on, guys. She'd follow her around whispering, "You raped me. You raped me. You raped me," over and over again. After a while, it became boring. But at first, it's really fucking creepy to have that voice following you around. Another patient pulled 2 of her own teeth out and put them under the pillow for the tooth fairy, except we didn't know. So when we came into her room, she just had blood flowing from her mouth, but she was so happy. Ugh. A guy was in tears once because he was convinced he had eaten someone in his sleep. It could happen. The worst for me, though, was we had a patient who was deciding to kill herself. Nothing we could do would change her mind. We had to always have someone watching her because you'd never know when she would try to kill herself. She assaulted a nurse with a fire extinguisher and then tried to hit herself on the head with it. She tried to pierce her wrists with a fork. She stopped eating, threw herself at the walls and at the windows, and then she would start crying if you stopped her. We had to strap her down a few times and she would either thrash like the devil itself or just cry and ask why we wouldn't leave her alone. When someone looks you in the eyes and you can see they're not in their right mind and they beg you to let them kill themselves, it's fucking terrifying. You can see that their mind is completely broken. Kyle just looked behind him even though the door was closed. What does that tell you about him? What does that tell you about? Kyle. Number 3. My clients have dementia. And there's one who creeps me out a lot. During the day, she's the sweetest old lady, but at night, she sleep talks. And it's not normal sleep talking, boy howdy. I can tell you what, you want to pinch a loaf off in my butthole, I'll tell you something right now, Pringley. Her eyes are open, and sometimes she's sitting up. Sometimes it's impossible to tell when she has gone from sleeping to being awake until she turns to you and asks if you've seen the little girl that was there, that she was talking to. She talks about people being there all the time, including a little boy that has died, and she wonders what we should do with the body. A little girl that sleeps with her, a man that orders her around, and her dead husband who is always looking for her. I heard her once talking, and she was being very loud, but as I reached the doorway, she said, "Shh, they're all sleeping. Better not talk about it now." And she promptly stopped talking and just lay there very still. Nigga. Number 2. 2003. I was an intern psychologist finishing up my training. A mid-20s woman with bipolar 1 was in a manic phase, and hypersexuality was one of the symptoms. She was desperate to have sex and was propositioning all the male staff. She finally removed her underwear, snuck up on one of the psychiatrists, a very formal man in his late 60s, wrapped her underwear around his face and her body around him in a bear hug, and started screaming how he should smell her scent and be ready for her to mount him for the ride of his life. The underwear was soaked in period blood. God damn, bro. Fucking gnarly. Fucking gnarly. Take your hand and extend each finger in front of your face. And then take the ring finger and bring it down so that it meets your palm. Take the middle finger and bring it down so that it meets your palm. Then take the index finger and bring it down so that it meets your palm, and that only the pinky and thumb finger are extended, and then wiggle your arm and wiggle your wrist so that you just flip that hand so that it's fucking gnarly, bro. The underwear was drenched in period blood. And after 3 of us managed to pull her off, his beard and hair were covered in blood. One of the scariest and funniest in a morbid way, nigga, you gross nigga. As we complete the list, of 20 frankly creepy psych ward stories, consider it 21, because I probably belong in a psych ward after I failed to just concisely get through this list without having a typical Kyle, attack. I can't get enough of you guys, though. I love you all for being here. You all mean the world to me. Special thanks to Schwanz Gruberman, Faith, Serious Sketch, Gassy, and of course Fat Man. But I love you, Hannah, and I love you, Jinx. You're so unbelievable. And you're adorable, Faith. Wow, so adorable. So guys, I want to thank you all. I want to thank my patrons, because they're so horny. Hopefully they don't end up in a psych ward. Not just because they're giving me anything, but because I care about them and I don't want them there. And then I have to break them out, and it'd be like a movie. Can you imagine patrons that, man, I'd break my patron out of like jail. That'd be cool. That'd be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool. We'd need to set up the compound before I'm breaking anybody out of prison, because then we need to have like a place to flee, and then like shut people up in there, and then the cops come and they're all like, have you seen this man? He's a patron of y'all's. And I'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about, copper. You better get out of here. You got a warrant, brah? Where's your warrant, brah? You got a warrant? Cha, brah. You better get back to that fucking department and like, come back here with a warrant, pussy. Pussy, fuck you, cap. And a special thanks to my sponsors through YouTube. Man, you guys are on fire. Some of the sponsors are also freaking patrons. What is that? Hannah? What are you doing, Hannah? Trying to patron it up and be a sponsor? Gahoogledy moogledy, girl. You making me wonder. You've torn my heart asunder. So as we finish this list, bing bong. Here it is. Number 1. Oh, can you okay, good. It's an edit. Oh, it's even worse. Okay. I work as an intern within the psychiatric ER. Nothing really creepy as much as the simple fact of how far reality can slip from you. Notable experiences. A man was brought into the ER on a mental health hold for grave disability by the police. He shut down the entire power to his building's complex because he literally thought the neighbors were sending him harassing messages through his microwave. Oh. Wait a minute. Schwanz, what are you on about? Don't test Faith. Don't test her, or I will grant her Kyle powers. You guys don't want Faith with Kyle powers. That's for damn sure. Now, completely delusional, but only for that one thing. If you talk to him about anything else, you would have no idea he was crazy. Yep, that's the way it is, man. That's the cool thing about it. Just like serial killers, they love killing. But if you talk to them, they seem like cool, charismatic guys, right, Kyle? Don't go there. A woman with dementia that hadn't bathed in 2 months gave her the MMSE, a snapshot at someone's baseline functioning, their awareness to reality, and she scored a 10 out of 30, which is super bad. I want to take the MMSE. That's cool. I want to take that. I'm going to take that later and do a video about it. And then see if I'm, gangster. And then when I score really bad, I'll just be like, haha, it was a joke. I was just trying to score really bad. And then I'll be like, what is it? Oh my God. She scored a 10 out of 30, which is super bad. For context, I asked her what time it was, and she had a watch on. She looked at the watch, then she said October 14th, 2008. Her watch was functioning, and this just happened this month. Oh boy. Faith is asking me to please just time out the mods when they're dumb. I don't see everybody being stupid is the problem. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't know. I don't No. A lady had a stroke at 30 and additional brain damage complications. Oh no. As a result, they performed surgery but took very important tissue out. Oh God. She was presenting as manic, but it was not due to mental illness. It was technically a medical condition as a result of a stroke and surgery. 1 minute she'd be crying, the next minute she'd be laughing, then doing jumping jacks, then asking for salt, then saltines. Oh God. Then ripped a hole in her pants and flashed her junk, but not before dismantling her bed and knocking on another patient's door. Her body was unresponsive to any meds we gave her. That's so scary. That's so scary. The idea of, like, you know, somebody taking a piece of your brain out. God damn. Lastly, how many people are suicidal? And when you ask them their story, most times they're not. Most times than not, it's pretty dark and hard shit that leads to them wanting to end their life. Hopefully nobody here wants to end their life. And I'm going to go ahead and connect myself to Snapchat right now on this new phone. And that way you guys will be able to get a hold of me on there. Give me 1 second. Wonder if that means when I log in on Snapchat, everything will be, you know, fresh. Fresh. I am literally... Whoa! Oh, I was about to... Wait! Oh, okay, I gotta log in. Nigga, you got the wrong guy. I don't know what the hell it is. Oh, boy. I don't know what it is. Yay, it worked. Of course you can. Okay. Okay, I think everything's working. So I've loaded Snapchat on the new phone. You know how to reach me, CYAEL. Guys, have a wonderful evening. I'm sorry that this list wasn't as long as perhaps you guys deserve, but you'll have me again soon, as soon as I can. You know, I'm gonna have a lot of nonsense going on soon, but I'm gonna try to make time as ever. So, remember yourselves. And remember that, you know, as wonderful as you guys are to me, and as wonderful as I try to be to you, somebody out there, you know, is going to be that for you if they aren't already in your lives already and you just don't know it. So, take it easy. Don't hurt people. And don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Love you. Good night.